everyone, and welcome to the Kimberly Guilfoyle Show, live on Rumble, where facts come first and where news is done right. And historic big breaking news today in Washington, as Kash Patel has officially been confirmed by the U.S. Senate to serve as the next director of the FBI. Here was the official vote today on the Senate floor. Watch.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the President will be immediately notified of the Senate's actions.
It's a monumental moment for the country, for all the patriots who pushed for his appointment, and for Kash himself. Our FBI will now carry out its actual mission of protecting we, the people. No more putting DEI above law and order, putting illegals above safety and security, and no more putting the Washington swamp above accountability. And the wins don't stop there. This week, President Trump signed an executive order to terminate all taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and end the open borders madness. He's also obliterating DEI in our schools, protecting parents, and stopping the weaponization of our core institutions. And the best part? We're only 1 month in. Watch.
President of the United States.
He became the 47th President of the United States.
We are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success.
It's about time we secure our own border.
The number of those gotaways is just falling off a cliff during Trump's first weeks in office.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years.
The first time in history flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America.
I feel like the luckiest man on earth right now. President Trump is a hero.
Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right?
And joining us now, a fearless advocate for equal justice for Kash Patel and for our children, Oklahoma State Superintendent of Schools, Ryan Walters. Thank you so much for being on the program. Okay, I think you may be muted, Ryan.
Isn't it exciting news? I mean, every single day we've got a new announcement coming out of the Trump administration.
It's so exciting. It's just every day is Christmas. You know what I mean? It's just, I love it. It's like going and checking your stocking on Christmas morning, and it's like piled with amazing things. So I'm really excited. It's a cornucopia of like success and happiness and promises made, promises kept. So I want to get, your reaction to the confirmation of Kash Patel. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment as FBI director. What does it mean for the country, for security, for our schools and parents, and ultimately our children?
And I've gotten to know Kash a little bit over the last couple of years, and what an incredible guy that, first of all, he's got the backbone. He is willing to take the fight on. He's excited to take the fight on. But number two, he also understands the deep state that he's dealing with right here.
Yeah.
Read
a book about it, Government Gangsters.
That's right. And Kimberly, doesn't the left, they tell you what they're most afraid of? I mean, their reaction to when he was nominated says it all. The deep state is just running, hiding, scared to death. They're that lady, screaming when President Trump won the first election.
Remember that?
That is all your deep state bureaucrats right now.
Nuts, I tell you. You're one of the most high profile, it goes without question, education officials in the country. Talk about how weaponized justice has affected you, personally and in your experience, and how new leadership in critical institutions can improve, ultimately, life for common sense, hardworking families and Americans.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Kimberly. I mean, when you look at this, you look at what the FBI has done over the last, 4 years under Joe Biden. They have terrorized parents. Remember, it was the FBI that partnered with the Department of Justice, with the teachers union to target parents who attended school board meetings. Mm-hmm. We had parents all over the country that were investigated by the FBI for simply asking, hey, why are we reading genderqueer to my kindergartner?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this? Well, what's going on here? And so what we saw was a war on parents with the FBI on the front lines of it. And so what you saw were parents trying to figure out how do we get involved? How do we move education forward? And so you've seen this on so many levels. Of course, them attacking President Trump, his family, anyone close to the president.
Awful.
It's just absurd. It's just sick. And so what you're seeing now is the turning of a page into, listen, in education, yes, parents, we want you to ask questions about what's going on in your kid's school. Yes, we want to protect your rights. Yes, we want to make sure that political figures can speak out and speak their perspectives without being targeted by the FBI. I really think, Kimberly, if this wasn't corrected, if President Trump wasn't able to win re-election and wasn't able to put Kash Patel here, we're talking about existential crisis for the country to have that type of weaponization of law enforcement.
Oh, absolutely. It's outrageous. I mean, I can't, I shudder to think of, the outcome or the consequences if this didn't occur. What can you tell us about how the new administration can protect parents' rights and make sure, that our children are safe and actually learning in school, not being indoctrinated? There's so much, weaponization in schools these days. Essentially, it's like you're scared to let your kid, walk out the front door and into the front door of a school or a classroom for what they may try to do, and then withholding information from parents about their kids and trying to indoctrinate them. It's crazy.
Right. I mean, it's incredible to see how quickly President Trump has fulfilled so many of his campaign promises. I mean, Linda McMahon is a rock star. I mean, having her in this position of Department of Ed to say, never again will we use a federal government apparatus to come in and push the left-wing agenda on every state. I mean, the Department of Education has to go. You're seeing them take the first steps in doing that. And when you get rid of that federal Department of Education, you now have the FBI in a new direction. You now have the federal Department of Education gone. Now you truly get to see what states do with education to be truly empowered, to not indoctrinate, to not push a left-wing agenda, to not kowtow to teachers' unions, but champion parents' rights, school choice, American exceptionalism. Kimberly, we talk about that a lot here in Oklahoma. We are unapologetic that we want our kids to be patriotic. I mean, we want our kids to love our country. We want our kids to understand American greatness and the values that made America great. And what you're seeing with President Trump is whether it's Linda McMahon, Kash Patel, Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm going to tell you this one too. We got a lot of parents here in Oklahoma very excited about what it means for their schools' lunches now to have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in that position, partnering with Linda McMahon. So it is truly exciting to see these changes.
Those two are not going to be bullied or pushed around, and they're going to fight. They both love, children and love this country and really care about human beings and about health. These are two people like President Trump that could be doing a lot of different things with their lives, but they're choosing to get back and make the sacrifice. It's no easy day being in government, being attacked, having to go through confirmation, all of the above, because they'll smear you, say whatever they can to try to destroy you and get you to back down, like they even do with the U.S. Supreme Court justices. It's absolutely out of control. Let's talk about Kash Patel for a second here. And they went after him very aggressively, like they did Pete Hegseth and Tulsi and Robert and all of the above. Kash, in his confirmation hearing, talked about how Americans have lost faith in a lot of these institutions due to their really rampant and prevalent abuse of power. Are we now at a time and a crossroad where we will start to regain that faith, to rebuild our trust and faith in these institutions?
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And what it took was President Trump coming in and aggressively, boldly saying these institutions will no longer be weaponized against Americans. Listen, we've been dealing with that in our schools here in Oklahoma. I fired 150 people from this agency when I took it over. We went in, ran teachers' unions out of our schools. We took certificates of teachers that continued to push critical race theory, DEI, and put pornography in front of kids. And we said, we're not going to allow it. We have got to bring back faith in our schools and our teachers. And it's the same way here. And what you're seeing here on the national stage of President Trump saying, listen, the FBI is going to actually go out and pursue criminals. I mean, Kash Patel does a great job of like, hey, we're not policing DEI policies here. We're going to go out and catch the bad guys. We're going to go out and keep Americans safe. And it's just this, I mean, it's funny, that we even have to say that, right, Kimberly, but it's the common sense of keeping the big thing, the priorities, not being, completely engrossed in this woke ideology that's just a mind virus. I mean, just completely gets you to turn things upside down. But meritocracy, we want the best and the brightest in all of these positions. It's just amazing to see the strength that America is showing right now because of President Trump, not only him, but surrounding himself. And it's a credit to President Trump. He surrounds himself with some of the most incredible, talented folks that you're going to continue to see America on the rise.
Absolutely. So you know how they do this with the smear tactics, the fake news. You yourself personally have also faced attacks. Talk about how that affects, your mission, because you've stayed very true to it, mission focus, and I know you're also a former special education teacher. I worked as a special education teacher, children with learning differences, following in the footsteps, of my mother. So education is of paramount importance to me. And we're only as good as what we're doing to educate and love and take care of our most vulnerable in the education system as well. Then everybody else benefits from it. How has that shaped your view of education?
No, I appreciate that. No, what I've seen as being a classroom teacher, now being a parent of four, is you see these kids that have unlimited potential. God creates them with our own talents, our own skill sets, and we want to get the most out of every kid. And you see, again, as teaching special ed, of working with all these kids with these unique differences, you're going, hey, these are incredible people that you need to make sure they've got the support to be successful in life. And, so much of what you've seen are these attacks for education reformers. I mean, every time you throw out an education reform, whether it's Linda McMahon, whether it's President Trump, the left just goes crazy. The teachers unions always try to protect the status quo because the status quo gives them money and keeps them in power. And what we're trying to do is we want to give power back to parents. We want to revolutionize the system and turn it into one that actually goes back to answering the needs of parents, actually getting back to the basics, actually focused on education, not indoctrination. And so much of what you see is the reason they're attacking so much on education is because the left's dominated it for decades, and it's caused good teachers to get out of the profession. It's caused parents to get frustrated. It's hurt kids in their education. So we are seeing a monumental shift here behind President Trump to get that back on track. So for me, it's exciting as both as a teacher and a parent to watch these changes taking place.
I have a question for you because there's, a lot of rhetoric and discussion, dialogue back and forth about some of these issues, whether it's people talking about the IRS, should that be abolished, et cetera, et cetera. Should the education department, be abolished? Like, what else can Doge do to actually serve taxpayers instead of taxpayers serving the swamp?
Yes, absolutely. The Department of Education should be holistically and completely abolished. We should not have a Department of Education. And, you listen to the left on this one, and what do they say? They go, oh, well, what will we ever do without one? Well, I want to remind all your viewers, we didn't have one until 1979. And I mean, what did the country do until 1979? I mean, only created the most powerful country in the history of the world without a federal Department of Education. And what's happened since then? Every educational statistic has gotten worse since 1979. So trillions going through that department, and every education statistic has gotten worse. We've got to go back to a day and age where it was about your local community, your local families, individual students, pushing them to their full potential, high standards, meritocracy, not DEI, not participation trophies, not all that nonsense. But hey, kids, we want to push you to get the best out of you. We want a competitive environment with school choice. And those are the things that when you look at it holistically, that makes the difference. Teaching kids about what made America great is so key. The president does such a great job of talking about making America great again. We also have to make sure that our kids understand what made America great in the first place, so we can return to so many of those principles and those values. And again, what I'm seeing across our state and across the country is a true excitement around that in education that, frankly, I've never seen in my entire career.
I think you're absolutely right about that. And, what are some key benchmarks for you in your state over the next 4 years that you'd like to see accomplished?
Yeah, some of the things that we look at is we want to get kids in jobs. That's the thing that I think is really important is you see so much of this higher ed is controlled so much of the K-12 conversation. Yeah. And listen, some kids, absolutely college is a great path for a lot of kids, but you know what? There's a lot of other kids that say, hey, I want to go get trained and be an automotive repair. I want to go drive a semi truck. I want to go where, and I'm going, those are great careers. And by the way, those are great careers without college debt. Those are great jobs that help build up our economy. We need to be continuing to encourage that and make sure that we're looking at kids, looking at their talents, talking to their parents, helping them fulfill that pathway. So
learn a trade. I mean, that's fantastic. There's a tremendous need for so many,
Absolutely. And that's a stronger country. That is a better economy. And I'm going to tell you something else. It leads to a higher quality of life, because we all know this. When you find that job, that skill that you have, that's unique to you, that you get to go and do every day and provide for your family, what a fulfilling life that leads. It's stronger families. It really is a key dynamic to making sure that this country continues to be great.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And, President Trump's made a lot of accomplishments. Obviously, education is near and dear to your heart. You're happy about what happened, obviously, with Kash Patel and the FBI. What else would you like to see, you personally, as an individual, for, your country, your state, etc.? Some of the big bucket list things that, President Trump has talked about that, we're waiting on happening.
President Trump has talked about this. Getting national school choice done, I think, is so important. Every kid should have school choice. Congress needs to get that done. President Trump has been the leader out in front on school choice. Hey, we've done it here in red states, but even if you live in a blue state, even if you live under a blue mayor, you should have the ability to choose the school of your choice. I mean, every parent should be able to feel like their kid's in a great school, not being dictated by the teachers' unions or by a woke administrator, but by you, the parent. You pick the school. I think that's so important. Again, I think it's so powerful for our families to hear President Trump talk about doing away with all of these taxes and regulations, because remember, that means that it further empowers our families to make decisions on keeping more of their hard-earned cash. And the strong foreign policy is just such music to our ears right now. To see here in Oklahoma, we have wanted so much to have another back to a President Trump era where we're strong, we're unapologetic about being Americans. And to watch him doing this on the foreign stage, it brings pride to your heart. You feel like a tremendous bright future is ahead of us for our young people, that we're not going to be stuck in a situation overseas for our young people, but we're actually going to lead on all these issues. It's just such a great feeling, and I can't wait to continue to see him down that road.
Well, I am very excited about it, and I'm also thrilled and appreciative, Ryan Walters, that you spent time with us today, and really excited, momentous occasion with Kash Patel getting confirmed as the new director of the FBI, and we shared it together. So thank you so much. We look forward to having you back again, and good luck to you and the great people of your state.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Be well. More coverage of all the big breaking news coming right up. But first, free speech is under attack, but Rumble refuses to back down. We've always believed in empowering independent voices, and now Rumble is taking that issue to the next level. We are excited to offer Rumble Premium, a completely ad-free experience with exclusive benefits for viewers and creators. And it's more than a subscription. It is a stand. Take a stand for free speech. Your voice matters. So go ahead and join Rumble Premium today. For a limited time, you can get $10 off an annual plan. Just use the promo code KG10. Okay? Visit rumble.com/premium/KG10 and claim your discount today. Again, that's rumble.com/premium/KG10. Now, last week, President Trump unveiled the National Energy Dominance Council, a cornerstone in the Trump administration's pursuit of unleashing American energy. Led by Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum and Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, the council will ensure that we lower energy prices, strengthen economic security, and ensure the American energy industry is best positioned as a global leader over the next century. And this means that we are putting American energy first, not oil from places like Iran and Venezuela, not enabling and empowering dictators like we saw under Joe Biden. Here was President Trump being asked about it earlier this week. Take a look.
Just a little clarity on, are you inclined to continue to allow Venezuela, through, I think, Chevron and other oil companies, to export those petroleum products, or are you
maybe not
to pull back on
Yeah, maybe not. We're looking at that now. I just got here. When I left, they weren't doing anything. They were ready to go. We give up. And then Biden came along and he gave them literally billions of dollars. I couldn't believe it, actually. And we have so much under our feet, liquid gold. We have so much, and it was pretty amazing. So we're looking at that whole situation, why he did it. All right, how about one more? Yeah, please.
And joining me now, Executive Director of Power the Future, energy policy expert, and my friend Daniel Turner. What a pleasure to have you back on the program.
Oh, it's great to be with you, Kimberly. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So first off, I'd love to just get your reaction to the president getting another cabinet pick confirmed today at the FBI, and what it means to get the team in place to keep delivering for the American people.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I watched the vote live when it happened. I celebrated when he hit the 51 mark. I had a lot of problem with the previous FBI when they started putting moms who support school choice and men who go to Latin Catholic mass, and they were calling them domestic terrorists. And, there's a lot of logistics to that, right? There are meetings that happen and there are conference calls, and someone actually has to go physically follow these people to church and document it, right? This isn't just a one-off. And there's a lot of coordination that happened targeting Americans criminally, and those people need to be held to account. And I think Kash Patel will bring that righting of the ship, but also holding these potentially hundreds of FBI agents. They can't hide behind the "I was just taking orders." Not when you target moms who support school vouchers and you put them on a list. People need to be held account, and so it's a great day.
And recently, President Trump announced the National Energy Dominance Council, which I kind of love. It sounds very aggressive. I love it. What does this mean, in your opinion, Dana, for American energy, for workers, for families, and ultimately for costs in this country?
Yeah, it's a great step because there's really no one simple answer when people say, why is electricity expensive, right? Or why are gas prices going up? The attacks on the energy industry come from every direction. In the previous administration, for example, the Biden administration made the SEC implement fines for any lending, any banks that lended to the fossil fuel industry. If they had too many fossil fuel assets on their mortgage sheet, they were charged higher base points by the Fed.
Sure.
So there were lending issues. There were DEI issues, right? There were labor issues where the Biden Labor Department forced energy companies to have different labor laws with contractors. And so why is energy expensive? Could be any number of reasons. It could be a pipeline issue. It could be a regulatory issue. And so it does seem a little paradoxical in the age of DOGE and cost cutting and streamlining that we're creating this new council. But I think what's necessary is this all of government understanding, because there's an all-on assault on this industry. And this will put the right people in place to say, how do we lower electricity here? How do we get more oil and gas there? How do we reopen coal plants here? And so it is exciting to see this sort of serious government approach to fixing our energy problems.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And I think, this is something you've been an advocate for a long time, and that's very important to you. What are the main differences that the Trump administration, stands for that you think ultimately will help to make American energy dominant?
Freedom is the most important thing. It's a real belief in free markets and free enterprise. And I tell people this all the time, and it's such an important question you ask. When we look at the first Trump administration, when this industry was allowed to operate freely, prices came down dramatically. Oil was at one point, or gas at one point, averaged nationwide $2.05 a gallon. Inflation was down. We were producing more for less for a greater number of people. But emissions also came down. If you want to play the emissions game, I don't. I think it's a silly leftist metric they throw on us. But for argument's sake, let's play the emissions game. Emissions actually came down in the first Trump administration. It was when Biden came in with an anti-freedom agenda that not only did all of that reverse, emissions go up, prices go up, but you started hearing all these accusations of price gouging and profiteering, and Congress hauled CEOs before them and wagged their finger and yelled that they were greedy. It's funny, when the big oil guy, Donald Trump, was president, there were no accusations of greed, right? No one was hauling the CEO of Exxon before them saying, why are you so greedy? And that's the big difference. Freedom, free market is better for us. It's better for this industry. It gives us more for less in a more responsible way. Biden believed in government, and government ruins and destroys. And so I think that's going to be the big differentiator. Let us operate freely, and you'll get a better product, a safer, cleaner environment, and it'll be more prosperous for all Americans.
So, under Biden, speaking of which, we saw an enabling of evil regimes like Maduro in Venezuela. Now, this week, President Trump suggested that he will be possibly revoking Chevron's licenses to export Venezuelan oil. What is your take on this development?
I never want to see energy workers suffer or American energy industry suffer, but I also don't want to continue to benefit our adversaries. And Venezuela has treated us poorly. The president also talks about how many Venezuelan prisons were emptied and their prisoners dumped at our footstep, right? The whole Tren gang, which President Trump recently declared an international terrorist organization, is Venezuelan. So I appreciate the fact that we cannot continue to empower evil countries and just say, hey, look, this is just the free markets operating. I have the same problem with buying rare earth elements from communist China. We have gold and copper and zinc mines, cobalt mines here in America.
Yes.
But environmental rules won't let us open them. And then what do? We use 9-year-old slave girls in sub-Saharan Africa to mine cobalt. And we say, that's just the free market at work. It's not. We have to use our values economically as well, our democratic, our human values, our Judeo-Christian values. And so I don't want to support the Maduro regime. I don't want to support China. I don't want to support any country under the guise of, hey, this is just good for markets. It's good for the industry. It's not. And so I applaud this decision.
Okay, fantastic. Yep. And also Stacey Abrams is in some hot water over some climate-related scams relating to grant monies. What did you find out?
I mean, this is so egregious that it actually you have to laugh because otherwise you'd cry. Stacey Abrams and her friends set up a nonprofit in 2023, and anyone can set up a nonprofit. A lot of people do for charities, for breast cancer, for reading, for whatever. It's easy to set up a nonprofit, but she set one up under the guise of climate awareness and green activity, et cetera, et cetera. They had $100 to their name at the end of 2023, but then they were earmarked for a $2 billion with a B as in boy, $2 billion grant from the EPA. No experience, no history in this space, no staff, no website, no nothing, and they got $2 billion. I would love to get my hands on $2 billion. I would do a lot of good with it, I'm sure. If I got $2 billion from the Trump administration, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren would have me before Congress tomorrow. And rightfully so, right? $2 billion is an absurd amount of money, especially if you have at least I have experience in this space. And it just shows you the level of corruption that was the EPA and the Biden administration as a whole, this revolving door of making grants to friends, to shuffling money around and hoping to not get caught.
Doge is good for,
Yeah,
to catch all this
and there's got to be real
it,
prosecutions here. There's got to be some. Yeah,
and get the money back. It's outrageous. We also saw a solar project, which this stuff gets me. I can't remember. We used to do like a story almost every day on the 5 about Solyndra. Remember that? We saw the solar project go belly up out in the Mojave Desert. Nikola Motors, also filing for bankruptcy. What should we take away from this story and development?
This is government picking winners and losers. And the Obama administration gave this company a $1.2 billion grant. Remember, Stacey Abrams got $2 billion, right? At least with their $1.2 billion, they tried to build something. It didn't work. It never delivered on its promises. But this is government picking winners and losers. If there is a market for wind, for solar, for EVs, for anything, it doesn't need government money to prop it up artificially. And this is telling us that, markets have to start controlling a lot of this industry and not supporting your donors, not supporting just pie in the sky projects, no matter how good your intentions are, right? We need to let operate what actually works. And fossil fuels work. They work when the sun is not shining, when the wind is not blowing, and that's why they have made our country so strong and prosperous. And we need government out of the way, picking their political favorites.
Yeah, you're right. And why would people even be against this when the science, the facts, the evidence so strongly support it?
Yeah, exactly. And when has government ever picked anything that's worked? And on the contrary, where did government ever have any wins? Where the entire energy industry, where healthcare innovations, where even Elon Musk's Tesla, You know, they weren't built by government bureaucrats. They weren't built in government at the result of government action. And yet we see, going back to my earlier point of freedom versus government, look at our healthcare. We still have Democrats who talk about how bad healthcare is. I thought Obamacare was going to fix it. Why didn't it?
Right.
Government. Government can't fix healthcare. It can't fix schools. And yet we have Democrats defending terrible school. I heard your last guest, terrible school programs and the need for school choice. Freedom gets us better products.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And talk about your confidence, in the new energy secretary and the major benchmarks over the next 4 years that you would like to see accomplished.
Yeah, it's remarkable that Chris Wright is the first energy secretary who has actually worked in the energy space. Historically, Democrats have picked professors or governors, and Republicans have normally picked Western states governors. And so someone like Rick Perry, the first Trump energy secretary, clearly Texas, a huge oil and gas state, knows the industry, has been involved. But Chris Wright is the first person who actually has been on the other side, who has built a company and has had to deal with the government control of it. And so I think to have someone who says, look, we're not anarchists. We need some government oversight. We need cooperation with government. But here's where government is actually an impediment. This will be remarkable. And again, unshackle the industry. We can create a lot more opportunity, a lot more wealth if we're just allowed to do our jobs. And it's been proven, it was proven in the first Trump administration. There was that little window of late 2019 before COVID happened that the president's reelection seemed inevitable. The economy was roaring. Everyone was happy. It was a great time in America. And COVID didn't just steal that, but then Democrats stole a lot more from us. And we can go back to those great days, and energy is the foundation. Reliable, affordable, abundant American energy will be the foundation of this golden age.
So, and you're a New Yorker, Daniel. So I have to ask you about this whole new issue developing today, the congestion pricing. DJT says it's gone for good, that it's unfair against, hardworking families that can't afford this nonsense. What's your reaction?
It's great. My family is still in New York City. I admire their fight. I gave up on New York when I was 18, and I've never been back. But, I have a sister, just anecdotally, who is handicapped, and she needs a car to go to work every day. The subway's not possible. The subways. A bus is not possible. And so she's being charged $8 a day more. And $8 a day as a nurse is a lot of money. And those are the people who are suffering, the people who are stuck. There are people who are stuck driving sometimes. It's not just a luxury. And these are the types of under the guise of climate, under the guise of protecting the earth and reducing emissions, it's punitive measures going after regular hardworking Americans. And, Donald Trump we're both from Queens. We're from the same part of Queens. New York will always be in his heart. And gosh, New Yorkers, regular New Yorkers who love him are looking at this and saying, he has our back. Not Kathy Hochul, not Eric Adams. Donald Trump had our back once again, and it's great.
It is really great, and it's what he promised too, that he was going to say. So I have friends and family that have been in New York recently. They said it's unbelievable. I feel like New York is back. The streets are cleaned up. They've taken the migrants off of the streets, and there's no more of this lawlessness and craziness going on, or at least it's starting to, slow down the tide and, bring New York back and business back again. He really meant it. He wanted to be the president for all Americans, for every state, for every city and municipality, red or blue. And you're seeing the evidence on the ground in New York.
Yeah, and it used to make me sad, walking around Midtown, leaving a hit at Fox News or something, and just seeing the tents, the encampment, the drug addicts, it was depressing. And if New York is depressed, that reflects America. I'm a proud Virginia sheep farmer now. I'm shivering because it's freezing in Virginia, and my little studio doesn't have heat. But my heart will always be in New York, and to see New York suffer like that unnecessarily, it was sad and it hurt. And so, if New York can make a comeback, then definitely America will as well.
Then you're not going to slap some solar panels out there.
I can't afford solar panels, and
No,
I don't think
it's
Selden's
crazy.
giving out grants quite as easily as the former guy was.
Oh my gosh. I had an apartment at UC Davis one time, right? And it had solar panels. And let me tell you, I had a cold shower every day. It was so crazy. Look, I'm for science and innovation, but sometimes you want the hot water to come on or you want the heat to actually work, right?
Exactly. And you know, America's in the middle of a polar vortex right now, and it's not wind and solar that's keeping us warm. It is fossil fuels. And I called my organization Power the Future. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. As you just said, I'm all for science and innovation and technology. We may discover something great someday.
Oh, we're open to that.
Punishing ourselves right now is not going to hasten a better tomorrow.
No, I'm already frozen thinking about going to DC tomorrow, trying to survive
cold.
that. Yeah, it's
cold.
real
Yeah.
cold. But it's warm in here and warm in my heart for you. Daniel Turner, what a superstar, such a pro and energy policy expert and a great friend of this program. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
It's always great to see you, Kimberly. Thanks for having me on.
All right, be good. And my closing remarks just ahead. But first, check out the 1775 Coffee Company. We talk about it all the time. Don't compromise on taste, quality, or your values. And 1775 Coffee is brewed to perfection, crafted with precision, and built on patriotism. The farm to cup process means there is quality, authenticity, and sustainability from start to finish. All the beans are ethically and exclusively single sourced. So try 1775 Coffee today. Go to 1775coffee.com/kg for 15% off your first order. And I also want to bring you a special message from Patriot Lifestyle where you can save more and spend less on a whole host of different lifestyle benefits, from savings on travel, identity theft, legal services, and even pet care. Take a look. Kimberly Guilfoyle here, and I'm so excited to introduce the Patriot Lifestyle Benefits Program. With our benefits program, you get a range of lifestyle benefits at an affordable price so you can save money and stay secure. For example, as a member, you will access exclusive discounts with NB Cash back so you can save more on your everyday expenses like groceries, restaurants, and even auto services. And with NB Travel, you can experience more but spend less by enjoying deep discounts on flights, hotels, entertainment, and so much more. These benefits are available to you and your immediate family to use anytime, anywhere. We also offer identity theft protection so you can stay on top of any unauthorized, fraudulent, or illegal activity. And access free and discounted legal services so you can protect your rights and receive top legal advice without breaking the bank. Plus, enjoy peace of mind on the highway with our roadside assistance program. And even take care of your furry friends with discounts on pet food, toys, medicine, grooming, and even trips to the vet. Our program is designed specifically for America First patriots like you, who understand the importance of letting your dollars reflect your values and supporting companies who support you. And the best part of all of this, our benefits are at below market prices, so you can enjoy all of them while living the Patriot lifestyle to the fullest. So don't miss out. Visit our website at patriotbenefits.net. That's patriotbenefits.net. Thank you again for choosing the Patriot Lifestyle Benefits Program, where real benefits and real savings are our top priority. Join us today and start saving now. And you can go to patriotbenefits.net to learn more, because these programs all come at an extraordinary value and will greatly improve your life. And in closing, a special congratulations to my dear friend, Kash Patel, for what has been an incredible journey to this point. A lot of hard work and an incredible group of MAGA warriors in his corner. And now we as a country can get moving on the next chapter in restoring equal justice, equal application of our laws, and keeping the American people safe. A new golden age is upon us, and it's all of you who are helping to make it all possible. Thank you so much for joining us on this special day, a great day in American political history, on this important episode. Please be sure to download the Rumble app, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like and share, and tell all your friends so they know exactly where to find us. And please also be sure to follow me across all platforms: X, Truth Social, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Stay tuned to Rumble for all the latest breaking news coverage. And please don't miss Don Jr.'s Big Show at 6 p.m. Eastern with author AJ Rice. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again very soon. God bless.